Hello everybody and welcome back to Imperator Rome, where we are kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place here in that we can't really expand until such a time as Egypt decides to drop their guarantee of Kush. So first things first, I would kind of like to improve relations with Egypt. I don't really want to fight them currently, so we'll just get that started. And then we're going to be mostly focusing internally for a little bit here anyway. So let's just go ahead and start going through some of these settlements and trying to find ones that don't have a single settlement building or city building. That's what I'm currently going to be aiming for. Most of these that we've captured should, although this one does not. Slave output. Okay, so we can definitely build a slave estate here, which would be this one. Excellent. And then the rest of these should be fine. This is a city here. And this should be a citizen city. So we can just build a library there for now. I'm not going to build any more than that. That'll just start it specializing. This one... okay. So what do we actually want here? This has earthenware that it produces, but we don't really have a way to do citizens outside of cities. I guess we go for the surplus in province, so we go for slave populations here as well? Yeah, I guess that'll have to be what we gotta do. So we'll do that. Okay, and then all of this over here is gonna be relatively good to go. We could definitely use a library here, and I'm going to go ahead and grab one as soon as we have the money. But for a while here, we're just going to be doing a little bit of investment internally. I don't want to spend too much in any particular location, but I do want to make sure that all of these places that have no settlement building get a settlement building for sure. So we'll build a library there. I don't think we need to do much in our capital province here. I mean, realistically, I don't think even these places with empty building slots are worth putting money in just yet. Although, we don't have a commander in the Axumite army, and, wow, this guy is awful. This guy's not much worse, and he is part of a scorned family. So let's put him in. He's 70 years old. By the time he dies, we'll be able to put somebody else in, and we shouldn't, I think, be fighting before then. So these, I believe, are all cities now, even if they're not hugely specialized. Okay. That's a city. This is a settlement. It produces wood. Surplus in the province giving local tax. Okay. We can make this be a slave estate. That would be fine. This guy, the general of the Guanaran army, is trying to raise a host. 3 units of light infantry. No. Stop that. Please don't do that. Thank you very much. Our high priest is supporting the wrong person, but I'm okay with it for now. I'll let it slide. We do need to get the money to build a slave estate. Really, the general of the Acme army is now trying to do this too. That is... some interesting stuff. I don't like any of these options. These would all be loyal to him. I think we're better off having the light infantry here. Well, costs 50 gold. Yeah, I think we gotta send the light infantry. That was unfortunate. I would prefer that that not have happened, but it is what it is, I suppose. Let's see. Atbaris has a food supply that is slowly growing, so that's okay for now. We may want to consider, though, getting another trade route set up here. Because when their population grows, that's going to be going down again. So let's go ahead and start improving that. Excellent. And then in Jijiga, we will build a slave estate. Okay. What else do we have? Let's go down this way first, but let's check all of this. So this produces dates, Freeman happiness. Interesting. So we could build like a barracks here. That would be fine. It's currently producing 0 manpower here. But that makes sense because it's just slaves. It's 90 for a settlement building. That's kind of expensive. But okay. We need to get these built. This is like bare minimum of provincial investments that we need. So as soon as this month tick happens, in fact we may want to go up to speed 4. Citizens for Axum. Yeah, Axumite citizen in Yeha moves to Axum. That's okay, I think. It's just 1 citizen. That's not a big deal. Okay, an ally's gift. This guy is giving us... The King of Axum is giving us 50 gold. Okay, we'll put that to use, building various structures. Yeah, that's all good to go. Realistically, this fort, I feel like is no longer necessary. Let's get rid of that fort. And instead, I would like to build... Let's see, this produces salt. It increases the population capacity. I feel like that's not hugely useful. It's not exactly... Well, it is producing some food. Maybe a farming estate would be good here. But also maybe not. We do need to get a steward. That is going to be a high priority. This guy will do fine. So what exactly do we want here? I mean, we could just go for slaves for money. And that'll also give us population capacity, and each surplus would give us food capacity. I mean, that's not the worst. I guess we can go for it. And of course, we are producing fish here, so we are going for farming settlements. And now we can go down this direction here. This is fish, so we definitely want a farming settlement here. This is incense, commerce value. Interesting. So what do we want with commerce value? I mean, each surplus in province would give an additional 2% commerce value. That's not hugely important. We're not producing much for food here at all, so a farming estate doesn't make too much sense. I think we go for the slave estate here. We're building a lot of those. Let's see, fish here, so definitely a farming settlement as soon as we have the money anyway, which we now do. Excellent. This is incense as well, but there's already a slave estate here, so that's fine. This is a non-specialized city that we're going to need to revisit later on. Let's just keep on going down the line here. This one. Elephants. Gives manpower for each surplus in the province. So if we were to build, say, barracks here, we wouldn't be producing a surplus. We need 14 slave pops to produce a surplus. Governor of Arabia Felix is currently disloyal. What are you up to, buddy? Mostly because of his power base. Fair enough. We could bribe him. It wouldn't last forever. He's 52. So he's probably going to survive for quite a few more years. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and bribe him. Okay. So as we were doing over here, we were looking at, I believe, this province. It produces elephants. I think I'm going to go ahead and do barracks here, not necessarily because of the elephants, because we're not really going to be able to get a surplus of elephants, but just because I feel like we've been building too many slave estates. Okay, let's take a look at these. Okay, we produce livestock here, so definitely a farming settlement. Fantastic. Well, now we can do all of this. So let's see. I really wish there was a, like, number of buildings map mode where we could just see this. Although I suppose we could use the macro builder. That would make sense. To some degree, anyway. We'll need to wait to have the money. And then we can see here that it produces what? Doesn't actually say. I mean, we can see where the places that don't have one are, which is nice, I suppose. There's a drought in Guanara. We could divert food from Mosalon. That would last for 5 years. Okay. I think that would be the best way to handle it. So, does this tooltip actually say what it produces? No, it doesn't. It produces leather. Okay, so we can use this map mode to find places where we can build things. But it doesn't actually say in the tooltip what it produces there. So this is wood, and that's a tax benefit. So I think we go ahead and make a slave estate there. And then over here, this is leather, which we don't really care too much about. I'm going to make a barracks here. Okay. And of course, we need Blessing of Oratalt. The annoying thing about using the macro builder here is you actually have to have the amount of money that you need before you can decide where it goes. So that's kind of interesting. Abaris's food is coming up nicely. That's good. This guy... Where's Zafar? Do we want a fortress in Zafar? Zafar is here. You know what? Well, or we could take the money. I think we take the money. Because I don't really care too much. Yeah, Zafar, I don't want to have a fortress there. So let's get a slave estate here. And then this produces incense, or rather incense. So, I mean, a slave estate. And then we need to wait for additional money. But once we are done with all of our settlement buildings, I think we'll be okay. So, we could build one in Katabia, but that's a city, right? Yeah, that's a city, for sure. So, we've got a few more locations, including up this way, and let's start up over here. So, this is salt. This is incense, and this is fish. So we definitely build a farming settlement here. There's no doubt about that. So incense, we pretty much just build a slave estate. Not, I think, anything else really to do there. There we go. And then for salt, I mean, I feel like it's just a slave estate, honestly. That's kind of our default go-to. We could build a barracks if we wanted more manpower gains. We're gaining quite a lot of manpower now. How do we compare in manpower gains with Egypt? We are actually ahead of them. Fascinating. We could theoretically fight Egypt. We actually could. I mean, they have strong alliances, but if we had a way to fight, say, Kush, and only Egypt would join the war without becoming the war leader, then that would be great. They will become the war leader, and they'll call in Rome and Phrygia and Judea, which would not be good for us. But that's still kind of fascinating that that's an option. And the fact that we are ahead of them in manpower gains tells me, build that barracks, but we don't need too much else. I don't think, anyway. Let's see, what do we want here? Local unrest reduction? I kind of don't care. So, with that in mind, I mean, we do need a little bit more money. Come on, one more month tick. There we go. Okay, where else do we need to build things? Oh, we need to build one out on this island. I forgot about that. That makes gemstones. We definitely build a slave estate there. We definitely want access to those gems. And then, where else can we build one? Over here? Okay, what do we make here? Incense. We have a lot of incense, and I kind of don't care about incense. I mean, I guess we can build a slave estate. Where else can we build? We can build over here. And here we produce vegetables. So that is very, very clearly going to be a farming settlement. There's no doubt there. Absolutely. We need the food. So we'll go ahead and do that. What do we got here? Horses. Population capacity is the surplus. I don't really care too much about that. It's currently losing food here. And in fact, Moselon is losing food fast. Probably because I stole the food from Moselon. Let's go ahead and import additional fish over here. That'll help. It won't fix the problem. Let's see. Diverted food stockpiles. Oh, I guess it is 33% of the food. For another 3 years. Okay. We should probably not be importing... Well, are we importing anything but fish? No, we are not. Okay. Well, we might have some population deaths over here. That is unfortunate. I didn't think that it was going to be quite this much food that would be diverted. And hang on. It was at 10. Now it's at 9. Each additional food... Oh, the 33% isn't from the base food capacity. It also takes from the imports. Well, lesson learned. Don't do that. Okay, I thought we could cover it with imports, but with that being the case, that's going to make things a lot harder. So let's see where else we can build this. And technically, we want to be in slave estate here. This is a settlement here, and it produces dyes. Citizen happiness. That needs to be a city. Well, I mean, it's a capital anyway, so that makes sense. Let's just leave that one for now, and we'll come back to it. Let's see, right here we produce incense, so we will do a slave estate. Here we produce horses, so I would kind of like to do a barracks. We'll go ahead and do that. What else do we have access to? I mean, we're going to need to build a fortress so that we can actually see. These two here. We've got livestock and horses. So, I mean, it's a pretty clear answer for the livestock. We're definitely going to build a farming settlement. There we go. This up here is going to need to be probably a barracks. We're down to 604 per month, probably because we're starving in Moselon. Arabia Felix Occidentalis also is losing food, which is here. Okay. 1.95 food. We can import a fish or maybe a vegetable. Yeah, we'll import a vegetable over here. That'll give us enough. But then we can go ahead and bring in some business interests. In Atbaris over here, we're probably going to need to recruit in a little bit more fish. I don't know why I said recruit. You don't recruit fish, generally. That's not a thing that happens. And let's go ahead and entice some business interests in Mosalon. We're gonna have starving pops. I'm afraid that's just the way it is. And I guess all things considered, I would rather, if we have to have starving pops somewhere, I would rather it be in Mosalon. That said, we have a spare import over here. Maybe we should just import livestock here. Actually, we can't. Okay, fair enough. Well, Arabia Felix Occidentalis should be able to be turned around relatively easily. And next month tick, we'll be able to construct a slave estate here, right? No, I wanted to do a barracks, actually. There we go. And then I believe that that was everything in terms of settlements. I hope, anyway. So we've got a city here, of course. We can build fortresses in cities as well, which kind of makes it awkward when I'm trying to just see unbuilt settlements. So, okay. We have diphtheria, whatever. So yeah, all we have then is Badeo here, which I would really like to actually upgrade to a city. I feel like that would be super beneficial, because it's got these sweet, sweet citizen happinesses. And then we can work towards our bad research ratio a little bit. Our tyranny is getting... or actually our tyranny is at 0, so I should demand support for air right now so that it continues ticking down. And in Mosalon, our food shortage is getting better. That said, this modifier is going to go away in about a year and a half. 5 loyal cohorts of random type? Oof. Okay, what did we get? Awkward. We got a chariot, 2 light cavalry, 2 heavy infantry. I mean, that's not the worst, I suppose. We maybe should think about bringing every army to 25k. That said, some of these have loyal units, but if the general is not disloyal, I believe we can still do this. Get out of here, you jerks. Okay, I do want to upgrade this to a city. There we go. And I want to bring out these units for sure. Maybe we keep the heavy infantry here, though. Heavy infantry are good, after all. And we just do that. We could take all of these up to 25k. We're making 35 per month right now. That said, we do have a fair number of constructions going on. So that's all a thing. We're not super close to our manpower cap yet. In Mosalon, our food issue is swinging away. It's going to take time for Mosalon to recover from this, for sure. There's a bunch of unrest, I believe because we don't have any food. Yep, that's why. Okay, well, that'll solve itself. As people starve to death. But, you know, sometimes when you're running an empire, you gotta make the hard calls. I would rather these people starve to death than our citizens over here. We gotta get our research points somehow, right? So anyway, it is pretty much time to put a cut in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and next episode, we are going to work on getting some inventions, and getting our food supply taken care of, and maybe building some city buildings. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.